So Marvel might be known nowadays for their jokes, their references,
Let's go, Ironclad.
and their cameos,
Eggshell shield.
but DC's been known to do that too in their movies.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Sometimes they went a little overboard with it, but that's okay because they eventually got back on the right track, starting with 2005's Batman Begins from Christopher Nolan. Speaking of, I recently rewatched that movie and it was awesome. All the fights and the Batsuit and stuff, it was so cool. And even though Nolan pretty much cut off his trilogy from the rest of the DC universe, all three movies actually still had a ton of Easter eggs and references scattered through it. So because overanalyzing something meant to be fun and take you away from your troubles for a few hours is my usual shtick, let's check out all the Easter eggs and references in Batman Begins. Now we all know that the grown-up Bruce Wayne / Batman in this movie is played by actor Christian Bale. However, what you might not have known is that his family actually has a legacy in the Batman universe. His sister Louise Bale actually played Bruce's mother Martha Wayne in the so bad it's funny but somehow it keeps getting worse 2003 fan film The Death of Batman. That's not really a reference or an Easter egg for this movie, but I still thought it was kinda cool. Anyways, towards the beginning of the movie, we're introduced to Liam Neeson's Ras al Ghul, who introduces himself to Bruce as Ducard.
Who are you?
My name is Henri Ducard.
Henri Ducard is an actual character in the comics, first appearing in 1989's Detective Comics issue number 599 as a detective Bruce approaches for training. Interestingly enough, the Henri Ducard character actually appeared before this in a draft of the 1989 Batman movie script. Although the character and his subplot wound up getting cut from the finished product, writer Sam Hamm was eventually asked to write for the Batman comic where he introduced his original creation. Meanwhile, the character Ras al Ghul was co-created by artist Neil Adams and comic book writer / editor Denny O'Neil, who also wrote the Batman Begins novelization. Later on, we see the Waynes attend an opera where Bruce gets scared by the performers dressed up like giant creepy bats. The opera they're watching is called Mephistopheles, a take on the story of Faust, a man who worked with the devil to achieve his heart's desires before turning on him and going with God instead. Arguably, you could see this paralleled in the movie's plot, with Bruce, in the Faust role, agreeing to work and train with Ras al Ghul, who takes the role of the devil, before turning away from Ras and pursuing his own brand of justice as the Batman, with the idea that Batman takes the place of God in this version. You see that? The designs on Bruce's sweater almost look like a bunch of little bat shapes, a reference to his future role as the Batman.
In my opinion, Mr. Zsasz is as much a danger to himself as to others.
Skipping ahead to the first appearance of Cillian Murphy's Dr. Jonathan Crane, you'll notice that he's testifying in the case of a man named Zsasz. This of course would be Victor Zsasz, the serial killer who clashed a whole bunch of times with Batman in the comics. You can also kind of see some scars here. You can see them better in a later scene when he escapes from Arkham Asylum, which in the comics came from him making a tally mark on his skin every time he killed someone. Funny enough, Zsasz in this movie was played by former James frontman Tim Booth, whose only film credit before Batman Begins was, coincidentally, a 2004 B-grade horror movie named Scarecrow.
I don't think that Thomas Wayne would have viewed him.
This board member is played by John Nolan, the uncle of director Christopher Nolan, and later reappears in The Dark Knight Rises.
Well, Jimbo, you don't take the taste. Makes us guys nervous.
Gordon being partnered with a dirty cop named Flass, along with Gordon's refusal to take bribes and turn in crooked cops, is one of a handful of references to the Batman Year One story by Frank Miller.
What's that?
Recognize that car? The design of the Tumbler was heavily influenced by the Batmobile from another one of Frank Miller's works, The Dark Knight Returns. While on his way to dinner at the hotel, we see Bruce driving a Murcielago Roadster. The English translation for the Spanish word Murcielago is bat, a subtle reference to Bruce taking on the role of the Batman.
Well, a guy dresses up like a bat clearly has issues.
Going back to the dinner, one of the female guests at Bruce's table is played by actress Lucy Russell, whose first on-screen role was in the 1998 movie Following, the directorial debut of Christopher Nolan. When Batman's climbing up the side of this building, you can actually see a pair of Batman pajama pants hanging on the clothesline. Later on, the scene where Batman, while in a building swarmed with cops, uses the sonar device hidden in his boot to call on a large number of bats is another throwback to Batman Year One. By this point, you've probably also noticed that the color scheme for the Gotham City Police Department squad cars are done in the style of the NYPD. That having been said, the license plates for all the Gotham-related cars were designed in the same style as the Illinois state license plate in order to stay consistent with plates on the other vehicles while filming the car chase scenes in Chicago. This cop is played by Larry J. Franco, co-producer on both 1992's Batman Returns and Batman Begins.
But is Ras al Ghul immortal?
This line is a reference to how Ras in the comics was able to return from the dead a whole bunch of times due to a mythical liquid known as the Lazarus Pit. When he decides everybody needs to clear out, Bruce starts acting drunk and insults his guests by calling them two-faced.
To all of you phonies, all of you two-faced friends, you sycophantic suck-ups.
A reference to Harvey Dent's alter ego Two-Face, who we later got to see in action during The Dark Knight. Jeremy Theobald, the male lead from 1998's Following, makes a cameo as the younger of the two Gotham water board technicians.
But Bruce Wayne got pushed to page 8.
When Bruce is looking at a newspaper talking about him burning his house down, you can actually see that the story is credited to somebody named Julie Ochipinti, who in real life was the movie's assistant set director. At the end of the movie, Gordon gives Batman a Joker playing card recovered as evidence from a crime scene. This card is actually a replica of the Joker card from the 1989 graphic novel Arkham Asylum by Grant Morrison and Dave McKean. You should also notice that the evidence was recovered by somebody named JCurve, a reference to one of Joker's favorite aliases in the comics, Joe Kerr. And that's kind of weird because that doesn't just mean that this is Nolan's nod to the character. This means that the Joker committed a crime, left his calling card at the scene of the crime, then infiltrated the Gotham City Police Department to deliver the card as evidence while labeling it himself under his fake name, all I guess to get either the police or Batman to start trying to track him down. It just seems like a whole lot of extra work. Either way, this whole setup with Gordon calling on Batman to look into the Joker as his next big case is also heavily reminiscent of the ending for Batman Year One. Now that may be the end of the movie, but there's 2 more Easter eggs hidden in the movie soundtrack. If you look at the track listing, you might have noticed that all the track names are Latin versions of different species of bats. Even cooler than that is how the first letter of tracks 4 through 9 clearly spell out the word Batman. Cool. But anyways guys, that's all the Easter eggs and references I was able to find in 2005's Batman Begins. If you guys like this video or you noticed any other Easter eggs and references I didn't mention here, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to click that like button, maybe leave me a comment while you're at it, and go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out any of my social media pages. I've got a Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. All those links are going to be in the description below. And I've also got my last video right there in the middle of your screen. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and click it, check it out. Alright, and I will see you all next time.